Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
We're following an ongoing developing story in what is now the murder of Savannah Graywind. Right now, people are planning to gather for a vigil in remembrance of the 22-year-old. You're looking live at Mickelson Field in North Fargo.
We have learned that members of Savannah's family will speak briefly prior to the vigil. There's plenty of time to get there if you're interested in showing your support. A few people have shown up, as you saw in the video. The vigil begins at 8:30.
And according to Facebook, more than 100 people are expected to turn out and show their respects to the young woman who was 8 months pregnant at the time of her disappearance a week ago Saturday, and whose body was found last night in the Red River.
Today, new charges were filed against William Hain and Brooke Cruz, the only two people investigators tell us who are considered suspects in Graywind's disappearance. Those charges include conspiracy to commit murder, and the maximum penalty is life in prison. North Dakota does not have the death penalty. Cruz and Hain appeared in court today by video to hear the charges against them and receive court-appointed public defenders, but they did not enter a plea. During the hearing, Judge Thomas Olson set bail for both at $2 million. Evidence collected from a computer used by Cruz and Hain showed they had searched for somewhere to flee to, making them a flight risk. Hain argued that setting bail at $2 million was unattainable and unreasonable and asked if he would be able to contact a bail bondsman. Cruz's next court date is set for September 28th, and Hain will appear in court on October 4th.
Savannah Graywind's body is in the Twin Cities. That's where an autopsy is being performed.
Valley News Team's Bradford Eric joins us with the latest information as this investigation continues. Bradford, will this be a federal case?
Mike, Andrea, we posed that question to police and prosecutors this morning. Their answer, it depends on if new information comes to light.
I can tell you that our partners with different federal agencies have been assisting us since the beginning of this. Whether or not it goes into a federal court, that will be determined by the U.S. Attorney and Cass County State's Attorney Birch Burdick. There's several factors that come into that.
This is where Savannah Graywind's lifeless body was found by kayakers last night, near a rural abandoned farmstead on the Minnesota side of the Red River, wrapped in duct-taped plastic and hung up on a log. But for right now, this case is staying in North Dakota.
A conspiracy requires an agreement with one or others to do things which are otherwise unlawful, and somebody takes an overt act in furtherance of that conspiracy. That's how it's charged right now. That's the best answer I have for you right now.
In other words, in the eyes of the law, Hain and Cruz had some sort of understanding that they were going to murder Savannah Graywind, and one or both of them may have done it.
Savannah was the victim of a cruel and vicious act of depravity.
Fargo Police Chief David Todd was among those giving updates. The understandably tired-looking police chief saying they will continue pursuing justice for Savannah. We know from the criminal complaint that Cruz tells police she showed Savannah how to self-induce childbirth, but we do not yet know the specific details of what condition Savannah's body was found in or exactly how she died. We're told her body was sent to the Ramsey County Medical Examiner's office in the Twin Cities for an autopsy. Investigators saying it could be weeks, even months, before any information is obtained from her body. Andrea?
All right, thank you, Bradford. At last check, the baby recovered from the apartment in North Fargo last Thursday is doing well and remains in the custody of Cass County Social Services pending DNA test results.
A makeshift memorial stands outside the apartment building in North Fargo where Savannah lived and was last seen. Candles, flowers, and teddy bears line the steps, and passersby say they want to show the family that the community cares.
There are bad people in the world. You can't avoid them all the time.
I didn't know her, but it feels like it's a sister lost, you know.
Very. This is a major loss.
You know, it's just crazy. It shouldn't have happened.
On social media, people have turned their profile pictures gray, adding the hashtag gray for Savannah. And if you would like to help the family, an account has been set up with U.S. Bank. All donations should be made out to Hazley Joe. Now, that's the name the family has given to the baby that's believed to be Savannah's.
In other news tonight, authorities have now released the name of the Grand Forks man they're searching for after he disappeared while jet skiing over the weekend in Otter County, Minnesota. The Otter County Sheriff's Office released a statement saying that they are continuing their search for 39-year-old Peter Ackenborough. He was last reported missing around 6 p.m. Saturday. Officials say they got a report that Attenborough had taken out a jet ski on West Battle Lake, and a family member later found that jet ski. The Otter County Sheriff's Office dive team and water patrol is investigating the case, which they have listed as a missing person or possible drowning.
2 men are facing charges after their arrests in West Fargo today. Police arrived to the area of 7th Street and 3rd Avenue East just before 1:30 to check out a call of suspicious people. One person, 22-year-old Cody Hunt, took off running and was caught a few blocks away. He's been charged with fleeing, while 30-year-old Eric Stotts is facing multiple charges, including possession of stolen property and a concealed weapon.
It's a little too early to start thinking about the extended holiday weekend to come, but if it's like today, that'd be all right. Let's find out about the short term. Hutch, what do you know about tonight?
Well, we are off to a summer-like start to our work week, with temperatures returning to above average for much of the valley. In fact, quite hot up in Grand Forks. Not much in the way of clouds or showers in the area. Great Lakes seeing a smattering of scattered showers and thunder showers. This evening, expect those 70s to continue through the 8 o'clock hour. And then we'll have a quiet evening as we'll see light winds and dry conditions continue. Likewise for Grand Forks, where your high today was 88 degrees. There is some more summer-like weather to talk about. We have a couple of chances of rain as we head toward the big holiday, and we'll have that outlook for the Labor Day weekend here in a minute.
All right, thank you, Hutch.
A Minnesota man is dead after a rollover in Otter County. It happened early yesterday morning outside of Perham. 24-year-old Jack Januszewski of Perham was found dead at the scene inside his vehicle. The cause of that crash is still being investigated.
The legal battle between Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton and Republican lawmakers is taking stage in the state's highest court. The Minnesota Supreme Court listened to oral arguments today in the case surrounding the Democratic governor, zeroing out the legislature's $130 million operating budget. Dayton used a line item veto to force top Republicans to rework major tax breaks and other measures he signed into law earlier this year. But lawmakers sued, and a lower court agreed, ruling the action unconstitutional. The Supreme Court's ruling could set major precedent for a governor's use of the veto pen. It was unclear when a final decision may come.
Drivers are being urged to slow down, look for kids, and stop for buses as school begins for kids, teens, and college students. All across the nation, around 80,000 people each year are ticketed for failure to stop for a school bus. Here's an example of what it looks like from a bus driver's perspective when you drive around them. Last year, West Fargo schools alone admitted almost 250 stop-arm violations for police for prosecution. And in Minnesota, if you get caught driving around a stop-arm, that fine has gone up to $500.
The president has reversed a decision regarding the use of military equipment by police. So later on Valley News Live at 6, what it means for local law enforcement.
Sizzling heat in the valley today. Your high temperature in Grand Forks was well into the 80s. Looks like more hot weather before a cool down midweek. I'll have details coming up right after this.